Alright, today we're playing a game called Dear Esther, the Landmark Edition. So yeah, I decided to play this because I'm kind of bored of Call of Duty right now, and I needed another game to play. I needed to get away. I needed to take a little break. And this game's only a couple hours, supposedly, so it shouldn't take that long for us to get through. I'll probably just make like one giant part, But I really just needed to get away from Call of Duty. There's just no content. We might have to play more story games overall. I don't mind the change. I do like playing story games on the channel. I do it a lot on stream. But yeah, this game's only like $1, so I'm not sure how good this is going to be. Okay, so it seems like we have different areas you can choose to go to. Because this is like a story-based game. I think it's really just you're walking around and it's uncovering this whole story of why you're on this island. I'm not sure how you got there. That's just what I remember from the description. So yeah, you have to start at the lighthouse, supposedly.
Dear Esther, the morning after I was washed ashore, salt in my ears, sand in my mouth, and the waves always at my ankles, I felt as though everything had conspired to this one last shipwreck. I remembered nothing but water, stones in my belly and my shoes, threatening to drag me under to where only the most listless of creatures swim.
Okay, this game actually has pretty graphics for 2016. Can we actually just Oh.
Come back.
Oh, that's cool. So, you can die in this game. Ooh, and I got an achievement. Alright, I guess we'll continue to our next area. I don't assume you can run. So, just gotta walk around. It just really is just like a touring game. You just look at this island, learn about the story. So I do want to take in the visuals. I mean, the visuals obviously aren't great, but I think they look good for a 2016 game. I do like the style that it has to it. Oh, we can even zoom in onto things. That's pretty cool. Ah, bird. Maybe we can read stuff and it will reveal the whole story to us. I do like how the skybox looks like it's painted. That's really cool. And it actually moves. It's nice. Guess we're headed over there. Maybe it's like a radio station or something.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
Can I actually fall down there? I guess I can. There seems to be something blinking inside of that cave. I honestly didn't think this game was going to give you so many alternate paths to go down. We could have gone down that cave, which I mean at least to a dead end, but this is definitely a type of game where they want you to explore a little bit. Yeah, so we were on a boating accident. You see all this equipment. They did mention it before, right? They were talking about us, I think. This game actually does have really nice graphics
There was
for
once
2016.
talk of a wind farm out here, away from the rage and the intolerance of the masses. The sea, they said, is too rough for the turbines to stand. They clearly never came here to experience the becalming for themselves. Personally, I would have supported it. Turbines would be a fitting contemporary refuge for a hermit. The revolution and the permanence.
Yeah, I like how the waves, they crash on the rocks. You don't see that a lot in games. Yeah, they usually focus on the whole, textures and stuff on a game. Instead of how the wind and stuff moves through the plants, how it all crashes off the rocks and stuff, the water, how the waves move, You don't see a lot of games put that much detail into that stuff. But I do like they give you a lot of areas you could go to. You could go straight over there or come over here. Maybe it all leads to the same place. Or maybe you'll get different endings, who knows?
Reading Donnelly by the weak afternoon sunlight, he landed on the south side of the island, followed the path to the bay and climbed the mount. He did not find the caves, and he did not chart the north side. I think this is why his understanding of the island is flawed, incomplete. He stood on the mount and only wondered momentarily how to descend, but then he didn't have my reasons. When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this: to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
They give you so many paths. Where do I want to go? I'm just gonna choose what I think looks prettier. I like this place. Oh, at least it's the same area. I wonder if we could have gotten over there if we kept going along the beach.
We are not like Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
Guess there's the boat.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
I'm gonna go over here first, because there obviously was something over there. But of course we gotta come back for that cave. Probably, I wonder if we can get to the boat. Or maybe just drown. Maybe there's more dialogue if you come over here. Let's walk across the stream.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer, that we could sow a forest from all that is left of your hips and rib cage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
Oh, so are these graves? Yeah. Guess I shouldn't be like walking on this stuff, should I? There seems to be like a cut pathway. I'm probably completely wrong about that, but they left like a Bible there, so. I do like the physics of this game. Like when you're walking up something, you actually go like considerably slower than when you're just like walking around over here. Like, you know, on a flat surface or a more flat surface. There are like I like this game, you know. There's usually with this type of game, there's like one linear path you can go down, but you know, you get like a lot of options here. Huh.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses,
I want to
and
go
have
to the
cross-referenced
cave.
them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome break services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
I want to go back to the cave. Can I go back there? Or maybe you get to like maybe it just all loops around. But how would the story make sense then? Come on, let me go back, please. Please, game. I want to go to the cave, please. No, I'm stuck on this path. I am really hoping the story is still gonna make sense if I just go off into some other area. You would hope it would, because you'd hope the game pay for exploration in some sort of way. So there are quite a few shipwrecks on this island, aren't there? This game also has some nice sound effects.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Alright, that's all I can see of that place. That ship looks like it's been here for a really long time, so... I was really hoping we were going to be able to go back to that cave if I wanted to. But maybe there was nothing in the cave. Maybe it was just a dead end. Guess I hate my stick drift, bro. Always messes me up, especially when I'm playing a nice game like this. It takes me out of the immersion.
All night the boy has kept me lucid. I sat, when I was at the very edge of despair, when I thought I would never unlock the secret of the island, I sat at the edge and I watched the idiot boy blink through the night. He is mute and he is retarded, and he has no thought in his metal head but to blink each wave and each minute aside until the morning comes and renders him blind as well as deaf-mute. In many ways, we have much in common.
You did not have to do bro like that. Dude, that's on a really high surface, isn't it? That doesn't even look like it could stand. Maybe it's not real. There never was a radio tower. Can I take a shortcut here, or will I just like die? Fall damage? No? Okay. He actually lived.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Oh,
what charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss? How many dead shepherds could fill this hole?
I didn't mean to fall. No. Where am I now? Okay, I'm just like right outside the hole. I've like slipped down. This game does have some cool physics, especially for just like a walk around game. I didn't get an achievement for that one. At least I did. Is that considered a cliff?
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under. I will stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there. I'm drawn by the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there. The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
I have no clue what this is supposed to mean.
Three cormorants seen at dusk. They did not land. This house built of stone, built by a long-dead shepherd. Contents: my camp bed, a stove, a table, chairs, my clothes, my books. The caves that score out the belly of this island, leaving it famished. My limbs and belly famished. This skin, these organs, this failing eyesight. When the battery runs out in my torch, I will descend into the caves and follow only the phosphorescence home.
Don't fall. Okay.
What to make of Donnelly, the laudanum and the syphilis? It is clearly not how he began, but I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here. For the syphilis, a drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast. They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. All around him, small flowers were reaching for the weak sun. The goats had adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley. Donnelly reports they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft, but I cannot corroborate this story.
It's interesting to think about, like, the animals, they just continued, like, living on the island without their owner. You never really think about that kind of stuff. You always think like, dude, usually when that kind of stuff happens, really someone in an isolated area, when they have animals, you think they just like die, you know, they're either like trapped or they can't find the right food that they would naturally eat. I guess we get to go into the cave now.
Climbing
Or I
down to
could
the
go over
caves,
there.
I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly
Oh.
infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Why did this become a horror game all of a sudden? You hear that music right there? It's cave-in time. Or is it? Yes, it is. Got candles in here. A lit candle too. It's really strange. Oh. What the? Guess that was the light coming in. Maybe it was reflecting off of the rocks and made it blue. I don't know.
From here, this last time, I have understood there is no turning back. The torch is failing along with my resolve. I can hear the singing of the sea creatures from the passages above me, and they are promising the return of the gulls.
Now this is really nice looking. Another candle. Imagine finding something like this in real life. That'd be so magical. Where's that light coming from? Is it from... Yeah. Gosh, this is so pretty. Oh my, that is so nice looking. Look at this water texture. I really want to like jump down there and see what will happen. But I feel like I'll die. I might just have to take a screenshot of this. Really wish they would have invested in some anti-aliasing though. These sharp angles are kind of rough.
There is no other direction, no other exit from this motorway. Speeding past this junction, I saw you waiting at the roadside, a one last drink in your trembled hands.
Guess we gotta jump. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty looking. I wish that guy kept crouching right there. That's a really nice shot right there. Take another screenshot. It's so pretty. Oh. Can I resurface or am I like dead? Okay, we can swim. Gosh, this game's water looks so nice. Like, it's so well detailed. You know, it's not aesthetically the best game, but this game looks really good graphically. You can tell they put a lot of effort into how the light reflects off stuff, and just how it all works and like fits together. Wow. Imagine this game with ray tracing. I wonder how far they're gonna let me go. Huh. Strange. Looks like some of these assets were meant to be used in other areas, but they might have just like placed them in the wrong areas. You know, that there being an orange light right there didn't really make much sense. Now my guy's like running.
I am traveling through my own body, following the line of infection from the shattered femur towards the heart. I swallow fistfuls of painkillers to stay lucid. In my delirium, I see the twin lights of the moon and the Ariel shining to me through the rocks.
Gosh, they give you so many options. I could have jumped down that other hole back there. Will I drown if I come in here? No, we're gonna travel down the stream. Crystals, so pretty. Can I go back? It's a bit of a struggle to try going back, isn't it? Where's all that water going? Oh. Oh, a boat. There's a bunch of boats here. Many have shared our fate. You know, if I have to die being stranded on an island, I think I'd want to die here. This place is so nice looking. go back up there too. So much stuff to do here. Oh.
This is a drowned man's face, reflected in the moonlit waters. It can only be a dead shepherd who has come to drunk driving home.
Behold the master. Yeah, this game has so many different areas you can just go down to. I hope I get everything. Really wanted to see what was like under that water area. Hopefully we don't drown doing this. Now we're behind a waterfall. Oh no! Yeah, we ain't survived that one. Oh, what the? Oh. Just a highway. So did we like kill somebody? The game is so nice looking. You know, I just had to. That's so nice too. I want to screenshot everything. Oh man, we get the. I just wish they would kick us out of these areas. Like, I feel like I didn't explore everything. There probably was so much more in there. This is such a nice looking game.
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost. If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
No, I got a screen. This might be my background. Gosh. This game is so pretty, I'm not even paying attention to the story as much as I should be.
I returned home with a pocket full of stolen ash. Half of it fell out of my coat and vanished into the car's upholstery. But the rest I carefully stowed away in a box I kept in a drawer by the side of my bed. It was never intended as a meaningful act, but over the years it became a kind of talisman. I'd sit still, quite still for hours, just holding the diminishing powder in my palm and noting its smoothness. In time, we will all be worn down into granules, washed into the sea and dispersed.
Esther. Finish the chapter to caves.
There were chemical diagrams on the posters on the walls on the waiting room. It seemed appropriate at the time. Still life abstractions of the processes which had already begun to break down your nerves and your muscles in the next room. I crammed diazepam as I once crammed for chemistry examinations. I am revising my options for a long and happy life. From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink. When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they resuscitated him by hitting him in the chest with stones gathered by the roadside. He was lifeless for 21 minutes, certainly long enough for the oxygen levels in his brain to have decreased and caused hallucinations and delusions of transcendence. I'm running out of painkillers, and the moon has become almost unbearably bright.
Is this gonna be the end of the game? Maybe they're giving us an option to go to the radio tower. Maybe we'll just come here. Maybe we'll die.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Person's gone. So this might all be a hallucination. That's what I'm thinking it is. And I guess he's just coming to terms with his past.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection. Returning to my car afterwards, hands still shaking, and a head split open by the impact. Goodbye to tearful aunts and traumatized uncles. Goodbye to the phenomenal. Goodbye to the tangible. Goodbye Wolverhampton. Goodbye Sanford. Goodbye, Cromer. Goodbye, Damascus. This cliff path is slippery in the dew. It is hard to climb with such an infection. I must carve out the bad flesh and sling it from the aerial. I must become infused with the very air. Blind with panic, deaf with the roar of the caged traffic, heart stopped on the road to Damascus, Paul sat at the roadside hunched up like a gull, like a bloody gull, as useless and as doomed as a syphilitic cartographer, a dying goat herd, an infected leg, a kidney stone, blocking the traffic bound for Sanford and Exeter. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. All his roads and his tunnels and his paths led inevitably to this moment of impact. This is not a recorded natural condition. He should not be sat there with his chemicals and his circuit diagrams. He should not be sat there at all.
We're almost there.
I am the Ariel. In my passing, I will send news to each and every star. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Huh. We're a birdie now. We're free. Yeah.
come back.
Well, I don't know what to think of what I just played. I found the visuals pretty. I feel like I understood some of the story. It was very abstract, you know. I don't think I got the whole story in my head. Gave me a lot of gamer points though. So maybe I'll replay it eventually to try to understand the story more. But it gave me something to do besides playing Call of Duty today, so that's nice.